Why is it that so many guys who are otherwise confident, capable, and intelligent become completely unrecognizable the moment they meet someone they're genuinely interested in? You know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment when you feel that spark of connection, and suddenly you're texting back within seconds, planning elaborate dates, and basically showing all your cards before the game has even really begun. Think about the last time you really liked someone. Did you find yourself constantly checking your phone, overanalyzing her messages, and bending over backward to make yourself available whenever she had time? And how did that work out for you? The painful truth is that showing you care too soon often leads to the exact opposite of what you want. It doesn't create connection. It creates distance. It doesn't inspire investment. It often inspires retreat. But why? What's happening here that seems to defy all logical expectations about human connection? The psychology behind this phenomenon is actually more straightforward than you might think. When you immediately show high investment through constant availability, excessive compliments, or obvious eagerness, you're not just showing interest, you're communicating something much deeper, that you've already decided on her value without truly knowing her. Think about that for a moment. How can you genuinely value someone you barely know? You can't. What you're valuing is your projection, your hope, your fantasy of who she might be. And on some level, she knows this. She senses that your interest isn't really in her, the complex, flawed, real human being, but in what you hope she represents. This creates an uncomfortable imbalance. You've assigned her high value without her earning it, which paradoxically decreases her perception of your value. After all, if you're so quick to invest heavily in someone you barely know, what does that say about how you value yourself, about your standards, about your options? It's a cruel irony. The very behaviors you think demonstrate your interest and sincerity are often the same ones that undermine your attractiveness. Your eagerness to show care becomes a signal of low self-worth rather than high interest. But there's something even deeper happening here. When you show too much care too soon, you're robbing her of something essential. The opportunity to earn your interest, to work for your attention, to wonder about your feelings. You're denying her the psychological satisfaction of pursuit and achievement. Human beings value what they work for. We appreciate what we earn. We become invested in what costs us something. Time, effort, vulnerability, risk. By immediately laying all your cards on the table, you're short-circuiting this fundamental aspect of human psychology. I want you to pause and reflect on your own experiences with things that came too easily versus things you had to work for. Which do you value more? Which engagement rings cost more, the ones from a first marriage or a second? The second, of course. Because by then, people understand the real value of commitment, having learned it the hard way. The same principle applies to dating and relationships. Value isn't conveyed through immediate, unearned investment. It's built through a gradual, mutual process of discovery, effort, and reciprocity. So what's the alternative? If showing care too soon backfires, what should you do instead? The answer isn't to become cold or manipulative, or to play mind games that leave her guessing. The answer is much simpler, much more authentic, and much more empowering. Focus on genuine discovery rather than premature investment. This means approaching early dating with curiosity rather than certainty. Instead of trying to convince her of your interest, focus on determining whether she deserves that interest in the first place. Make your attention something that's earned through character, compatibility, and mutual effort, not something that's freely given based on initial attraction alone. In practical terms, this looks like maintaining your normal life rhythms instead of suddenly reshuffling everything to accommodate her schedule. It means continuing to pursue your passions and interests rather than abandoning them to maximize time with her. It means responding to messages when it's convenient for you, not dropping everything to reply instantly. But, and this is crucial, none of this is about playing games or being deliberately unavailable. It's about maintaining healthy boundaries and self-respect while you evaluate whether this person is truly compatible with you. It's about being selective with your time and energy because you value these resources, not because you're trying to create artificial scarcity. What happens when you approach dating this way? Something remarkable. When you position yourself as someone who's interested but discerning, you create space for her to wonder about you, to think about you when you're not there, to put in effort to earn your attention. You create the conditions for her to invest first. And when she invests first, when she's the one reaching out, suggesting plans, creating opportunities to connect, the entire dynamic shifts. Now you're responding to her interest rather than desperately trying to generate it. Now you're in a position to reciprocate rather than initiate. This creates balance, respect, and genuine attraction. I can already hear some of you thinking, but isn't this manipulative? Shouldn't I just be honest about how I feel? Here's the thing. There's a difference between being honest and being impulsive. There's a difference between authentic expression and premature attachment. True honesty requires self-knowledge, and you can't honestly claim to know how you feel about someone you're still getting to know. What I'm advocating for isn't dishonesty, it's patience. It's the wisdom to let feelings develop naturally through experience rather than projecting them onto someone based on potential alone. It's the self-respect to make sure your interest is matched before fully expressing it. Think about the strongest, most balanced relationships you've witnessed. They're rarely built on one person's immediate, overwhelming investment. They're built on mutual discovery, reciprocal effort, and earned trust. They develop at a pace that allows both people to reveal themselves authentically, without the pressure of premature expectations or assumptions. The beautiful paradox here is that by being more measured in showing care early on, you actually create the conditions for deeper, more meaningful care to develop later. By not rushing to demonstrate investment, you allow space for genuine investment to take root on both sides. So what does this look like in practice? Start by focusing on your own life and priorities. Continue pursuing your goals, maintaining your friendships, engaging in your hobbies. When you do spend time with her, be fully present, listen actively, engage genuinely, enjoy the moment without anxiously trying to secure the next one. When communicating between dates, maintain a rhythm that reflects your actual life rather than your anxiety. Respond thoughtfully, but not instantaneously. Initiate sometimes, but not always. Make your interests clear through quality of attention rather than quantity of messages. Most importantly, use the early dating period as a time of evaluation rather than persuasion. Instead of trying to convince her to like you, focus on discovering whether you truly like her, beyond the initial attraction, beyond the projection, beyond the potential. What are her values? How does she treat others? What lights her up? What challenges has she overcome? As you shift into this mindset of genuine discovery, something transformative happens. The desperate energy of trying to make something work dissipates. The anxiety of waiting for validation fades. You become more authentic, more confident, and paradoxically, more attractive. And here's the final piece. When she does begin to invest, when she initiates, when she creates opportunities, when she demonstrates care, receive it graciously, reciprocate meaningfully, escalate appropriately. Don't swing from withholding to overwhelming. Maintain the balanced, measured approach that created the healthy dynamic in the first place. Remember, the goal isn't to trick someone into chasing you. The goal is to create conditions where mutual interest can develop naturally, where both people feel valued and respected, where investment flows from genuine appreciation rather than insecurity or projection. By resisting the urge to show you care too soon, you give both yourself and her the gift of authentic discovery. You create space for real connection rather than rushed attachment. And ultimately, you lay the foundation for something much more meaningful than the fleeting validation of premature investment. The deep satisfaction of a relationship built on mutual respect, earned trust, and balanced care. So the next time you feel that familiar urge to go all in too soon, pause, breathe. Remember that true connection isn't built on immediate investment, but on gradual, mutual discovery. Have the courage to move slowly, to stay grounded in your worth, to let her meet you halfway. Because when she invests first, you'll know her interest is in the real you, not just in the attention you're so eager to provide.